To me, one of the long-term robotic successes and AI successes will hinge on having good long-term systems. My name is Kagan Tumer. I'm a professor of robotics at Oregon State University, and I'm an expert in robotics and AI, particularly in systems that operate over long periods of time. Let's talk a little bit about what's a robot, what's not a robot, just to play a game of looking at some of these pictures, and then we can come back to what long-term robotics and long-term autonomy actually mean. So this first picture, yeah, that's definitely a robot. This is Agility Robotics' Digit, and this was built on technology that was designed here at Oregon State University. The next one is a Quadruped, Boston Dynamics. I would say anything that moves and acts like that is definitely a robot. That looks the most like a robot of everything else, but I would say that's not a robot, and that might bring us to our definition. We expect a robot to sense the world, make decisions, and then interact with the world. Everything up to now was doing some sensing. Digit would probably figuring out where it is, making a decision, and then actuating its leg. This robot doesn't have any sensing, decision-making, or interacting with the world. No actions it can take. So this is more of a toy than a robot because of that. A plane, well, that's an interesting one as well. I would say most people would argue that it's not a robot, but when your pilot switches the autopilot halfway through the flight, it does become a flying robot because it's sensing its environment, it's making decisions, flying the plane, and then it's actuating those. That is, whether it's changing course or any thrust changes or whatever it's doing, it is interacting with the real world. So on autopilot, we can argue that is a robot. Oh, elevator, that's a good one. I mean, elevator is a machine. I would say the elevator in this picture from, 60 years ago is not a robot. But certainly, if you move into the more modern elevators that have to do everything that person was doing in the original elevator, closing the doors, actuating the elevator, then manually stopping the elevator, lining up with that floor, especially when you move into banks of elevators. You have 6, 8 elevators in a large building, a hotel. That's a lot of automation and decision making. You can argue that's an entire robotic system of people moving. That's another good one. Door at a grocery store. I'd say most people would say that is not a robot. But by the definition we gave, it starts to get a little muddy because that door is sensing your arrival, because if a fly flies by, you're not going to get the door open. So there's a certain amount of weight that triggers it. Then it makes a decision, yep, that's somebody I have to open the door for, and actuates the door. So there's a sensing, decision-making, and actuation that fits the definition. So either our definition is too broad, or maybe we have to agree that this is some kind of very, very simple robot. ChatGPT, that is really an AI system, large language model that is interacting with you and giving decisions. That's an AI system, but there's really no physical component to it. That, I would say, is an AI system and not a robot. Similarly, when you talk about Siri, Alexa, Google Home, these are devices that are really interacting with you from an AI perspective, giving answers, but they don't have much of a physical presence. I guess, if you ask it to turn the sound up or down or lights on, that sort of thing, there's some interaction with the real world. But I would say that, to me, doesn't quite satisfy the robot element. This is much more of an AI system. And yeah, this one. Okay, now that one has an AI system playing Go, and then there's a robot here that is moving the pieces. So that's kind of both of them blended together. When you look at a system like this game, whether it's chess or Go, there's a very clear end to the game. The game ends, somebody wins, somebody loses, and that's great for AI system. If AI system knows it won or lost, then it knows how to update what it's doing, so it learns better and better. Things get really tricky when you operate over long periods of time. Say you have a robot that goes to Mars, you have 2 years of operation. There is no clear win or loss because many things have to happen, and you have to say you want to scientifically gather data. You have to sample rocks, you have to look for water. There is no win on any one day because you're doing many, many things. Winning and losing is great for short games, but if you want to operate over long periods of time, you need to redefine what success means. That's a tricky thing that we are trying to do right now.